evening. You're watching 7 at 7, the only news bulletin where we curate the day's top 7 stories for our viewers. These are the headlines. Prime Minister Modi seeks suggestions from chief ministers on reviving economy, tells state night curfew effective, calls for joint effort in preventing virus spread in rural areas. Maharashtra, Punjab, Telangana and Bengal seek extension of lockdown, says sources. KCR and Tamil Nadu Chief Minister oppose resumption of train services. As the Prime Minister meets Chief Ministers to discuss India's lockdown exit plan, politics erupts. Mamata Banerjee accuses the centre of discrimination. Technical snag hits IRCTC website as online bookings for passenger trains begin. Special trains to run between Delhi and 15 cities from tomorrow. India records its highest single-day jump in coronavirus cases, with the number crossing 4,000 for the first time. Worst hit states. Maharashtra alone accounts to over 33% cases in the country now. Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport gets ready for partial resumption of flight operations. Joint team of DGCA, Aviation Ministry visit IGI Airport to check preparedness. Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray files his nomination for MLC polls. Uddhav is all set to enter the Legislative Council unopposed as Congress withdraws one of its candidates from the race. All right, so India has now recorded the highest spike in coronavirus cases ever. Now, this has happened in the last 24 hours, which has taken the total toll to 67,152, with recording of deaths standing at 2,206. The worst hit states remain the state of Maharashtra, which actually accounts for 33% of the COVID-19 positive cases in the country, with a total of 22,171 coronavirus positive cases, recording 832 deaths. Gujarat's total cases stand at 8,194, making it the second state in the country with the highest count and recording deaths of 493. Tamil Nadu has taken over the state of Delhi with total cases of 7,204 and registering for COVID-19 deaths as of now. So this is what it looks like where India stands in its fight against coronavirus. Meanwhile, as India enters lockdown day 48, the Prime Minister currently chairing a crucial huddle on the coronavirus situation in the country with chief ministers of all states via video conferencing. Sources tell India Today that in the meeting, Prime Minister sought proposals on reviving the economy from chief ministers and appealed to all state CMs to stop the crisis from reaching villages. During the meet, Home Minister Amit Shah said that the Arogya Setu app is very helpful in tracking and fighting the coronavirus and urged states' chief ministers to make it available to all. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee attacked centre, saying that Modi government should stop indulging in politics, saying that the state is doing a good job in this situation. Sources told India Today that discussions on the easing of the lockdown, which is expected to end on May 17th, is also on the cards. This is the 5th virtual meet between the Prime Minister and the Chief Ministers. All right, the latest news break coming in. The state of Maharashtra, Punjab, Telangana and Bengal have now sought an extension of the lockdown. Uddhav Thackeray has said it's impossible to go forward without the lockdown. Mamata Banerjee demanded a lockdown extension too, saying everyone needs to fight together. Politics should be avoided, is what she said. Meanwhile, Rajasthan Chief Minister has said those from red zones should not be allowed into green zones. I want to connect to our National Affairs Editor, Rahul Srivastav, who is joining us on the inputs that have been given right now by the Chief Ministers. Rahul, it's a marathon meeting. It started at 3 p.m. They took about a half-hour break at about 6 o'clock, and now they are back with the Prime Minister, and it will continue late into the night. Would you give us what have the inputs been coming in from each state, especially the worst affected states?
Pretty, what one can say is that compared to last 4 meetings, This meeting is much more broad-based with all the chief ministers, barring the heads of the union territories speaking. It's very indicative that the Prime Minister is trying to get the picture and views of the entire country. And I think that might actually dictate or might be the underline as far as the final decision emerging from this meeting is concerned, that a much more state-specific and a federalized decision may eventually emerge, with states like Punjab and others saying that they want a lockdown, they want a graded exit. They also want that the zoning in terms of green, orange and red should be left specifically to the state, not the center dictating it from Delhi, but the states decide taking their own decisions. Otherwise, if you see the Prime Minister very clearly and the Chief Minister is also saying that the night curfew has been good. Prime Minister, in fact, flagging the fact that some states have not been very successful in implementing the lockdown, and that is why the challenges, or say the number of infected cases rising there, and that definitely includes his own home state, Gujarat. But if you see the entire picture, there is a desperation to emerge out of the lockdown, but to ensure that the social distancing parameters and restriction and protocols do not get diluted. And in that scenario, the Prime Minister said that we wanted people to remain where they were, but certain amount of changes needed to be made as people want to return home. What it means is that there is an admission that certain amount of tweaking of the protocols need to be done. Otherwise, the crisis will deepen and the governments will not be able to handle it. And that is why I will say a graded exit is very possible. States getting the powers to decide the fate of the lockdown seems to be the emerging scenario from this meeting, which is likely to end sometime around 9:30 in the night today.
You know, Rahul, stay on with me. I'm going to come back to you in 2 points. It seems even though the state of Gujarat remains the second most affected, it does not want an extension of the lockdown. Well, that is the latest that we're getting in right now, and we're breaking that news. It just happened a short while ago where the Chief Minister of Gujarat, Mr. Rupani, suggested that the state of Gujarat does not want an extension of the lockdown. Even though, like I said, Gujarat is the second worst hit state with over 8,000 cases. I want to connect back to Rahul Srivastava on this. You know, Rahul, it's interesting. 2 points I want to touch on. Number one, Gujarat, despite of having a steep rise, especially in cities like Ahmedabad, a mortality rate pretty much the highest in the country where COVID-19 is concerned, doesn't want an extension of the lockdown. On the other hand, did you get a sense, Rahul, that the BJP states do not seem to be in favor of a lockdown, and possibly the opposition and the Congress-ruled states are suggesting that you go ahead with the lockdown?
You see, Preeti, what I think there is a fait accompli element as far as the BJP rules are concerned. They will go with what the Prime Minister and the central government decide. Gujarat is a very different example. Gujarat does not want a lockdown extension. Primarily because of the fact, one, it cannot say that we want to decide at the state level whatever we want to. After all, there is a bit of a issue of hierarchy between Gujarat and the center. The other very important element is that Gujarat is a very industrialized state. Gujarat is a very high businesses entity state. It contributes hugely. The biggest diamond factory, textile, chemicals and others are situated in Gujarat. And that is where lies the catch, that Gujarat, if it continues in a high state of lockdown, we have seen that there has been a specific departure of migrants and workers from there. Say, for example, the Surat industry, diamond industry, is a very specific industry which trains people over a period of time in diamond polishing and others. Now, workers from Ganjam district in Orissa and UP and Bihar have been leaving or wanting to leave. Now, if they all leave, the restarting the diamond industry in Surat will be virtually impossible because a new lot will have to be trained. And that is why Gujarat is one state which may not be in favor of extending the lockdown, but eventually will let the center dictate the terms as far as the future after May 17th is concerned.
Thank you, Rahul, for joining us. We'll come back to you for more updates on the story. And one of the big ones is, and we're going to play that out at 10 p.m. as well, is what Mamata Banerjee said in this particular meeting. She digressed a little, stating that the center is actually interfering in the federal structure of the country. Also, insinuated that the Home Minister is actually leaking missives that are coming in from the centre to the state of West Bengal even before they reach the state of West Bengal. All of that later on. But there's more news break coming in, and all of that emanating from this meeting that is taking place. Bhupesh Baghel, Chhattisgarh Chief Minister, has said that states should be consulted before allowing regular railway traffic and flight traffic. Telangana and Tamil Nadu have already opposed resuming of trains, and it does seem that the state of Chhattisgarh as well is not very keen that trains actually start. And that has been an input that has been given by none else but Bhupesh Baghel, Chhattisgarh Chief Minister. And all of this meeting taking place in the backdrop of India reporting its highest spike ever. India has today reported over 4,200 confirmed coronavirus cases, its biggest single-day spike. The Health Ministry in its briefing said that India's recovery rate has now improved and stands at 31.15%. In a single day, 1,569 people were cured of the virus. The Health Ministry also informed that 70 proposals on vaccines, medicines are being considered. Let's listen in now to all the announcements that were made today by the Health Ministry on where India stands.
पिछले 24 घंटे में अगर हम देखें तो पाते हैं कि टोटल केसेस में 4,213 केसेस का इंक्रीज नोट किया गया है। नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ वायरोलॉजी पुणे ने एक एंटीबॉडी डिटेक्शन किट कोविड कलज एलाइजा नामक IgG एलिजा टेस्ट किट को डेवलप किया है। माननीय स्वास्थ्य मंत्री जी ने इस संदर्भ में कहा कि इंडिजिनस टेस्ट कोविड-19 के सर्वेलेंस में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाएगा। डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी और बायोटेक्नोलॉजी इंडस्ट्री रिसर्च असिस्टेंस काउंसिल ने वैक्सीन, डायग्नोस्टिक्स, थेरेप्यूटिक्स और अदर टेक्नोलॉजी से संबंधित 70 प्रपोजल को भी शॉर्टलिस्ट करके फंडिंग के लिए सेलेक्ट किया है।
अभी तक 468 विशेष ट्रेनें चल चुकी हैं, जिनमें से कल 10 मई को 101 ट्रेनें चली थी।
All right, so the first train will start tomorrow. That after 50 days of suspension of its passenger services, the Indian Railways plans to gradually restart passenger train operations. Bookings for these trains have already begun through the IRCTC website on the mobile app. Here's more.
After a long wait, Indian Railways is set to restart passenger train operations from Tuesday. The services will initially begin with 15 trains connecting Delhi to 15 important cities, including Bengaluru, Chennai, Thiruvananthapuram, Mumbai, Ahmedabad and Jammu Tawi. Thereafter, Indian Railways shall start more special services based on availability of coaches after reserving 20,000 coaches for COVID-19 care centres and adequate coaches for the Shramik special trains. A slew of rules will be strictly implemented to ensure social distancing norms are not violated. Ticket booking counters at railway stations shall remain closed. Booking of tickets will only happen via the IRCTC website. Only AC coaches will be used in special trains. There will be fewer stoppages only at major destinations. Fares will be equivalent to charges in Rajdhani and pricing will be dynamic. It will be mandatory for passengers to wear face cover and undergo screening at entry and exit points. Only asymptomatic passengers will be allowed to travel. There's no clarity yet on if food will be served on trains, the number of stoppages for trains and whether senior citizens will be allowed to travel. Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, in what appears to be a hint at starting domestic flight services as well after passenger trains, the Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri tweeted a photo of a plane cabin with people in masks and face shields. The picture belongs to the airplanes in which government has been bringing back Indians stranded abroad due to the coronavirus pandemic. The Civil Aviation Minister in his tweet said that times are changing and scenes of people with masks at airports is now a new normal. Puri also echoed a line from the famous singer Bob Dylan song. The times, they are a-changing. Meanwhile, a joint team of DGCA, Bureau of Civil Aviation Security Office, Authority of India, Delhi International Airport Limited and CISF visited Delhi Airport before the resumption of flights and took a detailed note of preparedness.
When will you resume domestic commercial operations? When will I be able to travel to Mumbai, let's say, to meet my mother? Or when can I go back to my hometown in Goa? When can any Indian who's stuck somewhere in India use air facilities? When do you expect commercial private airlines to start operating in India, Mr. Minister?
Rajdeep, I want to be as optimistic I can be. My answer to you, the one I want to give, is sooner rather than later. But I will qualify that by saying we will do it at the earliest, depending on the behavior of the virus, because we must be ready then also to open up rail traffic, to open up other forms of domestic traffic. And it also depends on, surely we cannot conduct air operations between two red zones. So we'll see how it operates. But I'm hoping within the next week or 10 days, we will get clarity on that. And then, as I keep saying, in terms of public statement, those decisions remain to be taken.
Moving on, our frontline warriors against coronavirus continue to be stigmatized and harassed. A Delhi-based doctor was in fact hounded by his neighbors as a corona carrier, leaving the corona hero with no choice but to move out of his house. Dr. Shankar Madhav has been fighting the coronavirus from the front lines. But there were no thalis or diyas for him. There was no floral welcome at his residence. The doctor who works at the Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Hospital in Delhi was instead shunned and ostracized. From the comforts of his Dwarka home, he and his pet beagle, Lucy, were forced to move to an Oyo room.
सोसाइटी मुझे देख के लोग रास्ता बदलने लगे। जैसे मैं लिफ्ट यूज़ करता हूं तो लोग उनको यूज नहीं कर रहे। मैं जिस फ्लोर पे रह रहा हूं तो वो बाहर आने से डरते हैं। मेरे घर पे जो मेड आती थी उनको मना किया गया। उनको डर लग रहा है कि ये डॉक्टर के यहाँ मेड काम करती है, अगर ये सोसाइटी में रोम अराउंड करेंगी या किसी और घरों में काम करेंगी तो वहाँ भी वायरस का खतरा बढ़ेगा और ये वायरस वहाँ से फैलेगा।
Dr. Madhav lives alone. His wife, also a doctor, is serving in Rajasthan. He claims he was harassed by his RWA and was denied any help, despite the Delhi government's order allowing maids. Helpless and distraught, the doctor wrote to the Delhi Chief Minister seeking help, prompting the authorities to step in. The doctor's house help was allowed, but she lost her job in 3 houses because she worked for him. This was the last straw. Dr. Madhav shifted out of his home. The apartment society management denies the doctor's allegations.
छोटा सा इशू था जो डॉक्टर माधव ने उसको कंफ्यूजन हुआ था। एज ए प्रिकॉशनरी मेजर हमने डिसीजन लिया था कि 6-7 दिन 10 दिन और जो है हम इसको बैन को, मेड की एंट्री के बैन को एक्सटेंड करेंगे। और वो इस इशू पे कह रहे थे कि आप मेरे को स्पेशल परमिशन दो। तो ये इशू था, उसने इस इशू को ट्विस्ट करके ये कहा कि मेरे साथ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हो रही है, विच वाज हिज मिस इम्प्रेशन।
Wars are being fought in hospitals, but it is disheartening to see that these corona warriors are facing the brunt at home. Treated as castaways and humiliated in their own society, they are a demoralized lot. It's time that India gets real, has a large heart and realizes that these are the guardian angels who are finally going to win the battle for us. With video journalist Ajay, this is Singh in Delhi for India Today.
Meanwhile, as a crucial meet is underway in India to decide on the next course of action, world over, countries are easing curbs and life is slowly returning to normal from France to Spain. European nations are beginning to open up, but a post-pandemic world looks rather different.
France is cautiously emerging from one of Europe's strictest lockdowns. The 8-week lockdown that was imposed on the 17th of March has been gradually lifted. Shops and hair salons are now open, and people can now venture out without a government-mandated form. But it's not business as usual. Paris still remains a red zone, and the French government has warned that the lockdown will be reimposed if infections resurface.
If the virus were to resume its wild rush, with lack of control and a risk to French people's health, we would again take lockdown measures, by zone, differentiated, as we had been doing in the beginning, and see if the population is in danger.
In London, traffic returned to the roads as many confused Brits headed back to work. While the British Prime Minister has said that the lockdown will not end yet, he did encourage some people to return to work. From the 13th of May, people will be allowed to exercise more. Some manufacturing workers could also go back to work.
We have made progress in satisfying at least some of the conditions I have given. We have by no means fulfilled all of them. And so, no, this is not the time simply to end the lockdown this week. We said that you should work from home if you can and only go to work if you must, at the earliest by July.
Boris Johnson is expected to give details of how to get the economy back to work after his attempt to plot a nuanced exit from the coronavirus lockdown prompted confusion. Spain has a four-phase plan to lift the coronavirus lockdown as it prepares to return to normal by the end of June. In Sevilla, bars have started to open as the city enters the second phase of lockdown. Bars and restaurants can also reopen their terraces with no more than 50% occupation. Hotels and other tourist accommodations can also now reopen. Madrid, however, still remains closed as it remains in the initial phase of the plan to ease the lockdown. As China has eased its lockdown measures and gradually reopened its economic activities, major projects resumed in North China's Hebei province and Central China's Henan province. In South China's Hainan province, over 11,700 graduating students from 13 colleges returned to campus over this weekend. Shanghai's Disneyland is all set to reopen its doors to the public. The park, which has been closed since January the 25th, will be the first of 6 major theme parks around the world to reopen since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. The theme park will implement various health and safety measures as well as limit the number of visitors to 30% of its normal capacity upon its reopening. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, every day on the end of 7 at 7, we bust certain claims floating about on social media. Stuff that you get on your WhatsApp and other social media platforms. There's one claim that's floating about which suggests Italian luxury brand Prada is actually making body bags in Italy. Well, fact check on that. The viral video is a spoof made in 2016, so false even in all its morbidity, because Italy is actually registering one of the highest fatalities of COVID-19. This is false. Moving on to other claim which suggests that prolonged use of masks causes fatigue and loss of reflexes. Well, this is also wrong. And the claim is that the lion sighted, okay, so this is also wrong, so false. The other claim that is also making the rounds is that a lion sighted near Delhi cantonment during the lockdown. Well, you're seeing a lot of wildlife come out on the road. Now, there was this claim which was floating about that lions were sighted there. Well, the conclusion to that is the viral video is from Gujarat's Amreli district, so false again. With that, it's a wrap of 7 at 7. Do stay with us. Up next is Corona Info with our consulting editor, Hardeep Sardesai.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.